Hi there, and welcome back for another video. It's the first release in 2022, and this will be a healing video inspired by a Swiss professor, and that is because he published a few books. I watched a YouTube video from him that inspired me to do this topic. What is the topic of today? Well, it is what it has been triggering in mankind during this pandemic. Well, many things. Yeah, I know, that's true. Well, one of the things, the main issues are fear. Fear for death, fear for dictatorship, and fear for starvation. And he told it like this, that he saw that in larger companies there has been forming some groups, they are dividing, they don't speak to each other, and how come? He reduced it to these three fears: fear of death, fear of starvation, fear of dictatorship. If you have issues with one of these, they might be triggered. They may come out in various ways. And it might be a cause that you have said goodbye to some friends or colleagues of yours. And I think it's time to heal. Because living divided isn't fun. I mean, of course you can have your own fears triggered, and often I see it in people, what's going on. That doesn't mean I can do anything with it, because people have the right to live their life the way they live it. Well, what has been happening in my personal life? As you know, my son lives with me. That's still the case. I have fun living with a 13-year-old. It's really nice. I'm still single, happy single at the moment. I have to provide for me and my son. And I had one job, and it wasn't enough. It was a part-time job. And so within the company, I switched area where I can sell. So I switched from City Lucerne, Switzerland, to a more rural area, and I'm having my first month there, and to be honest, it goes pretty well. I'm really happy with it. I finally can provide. But what also happened is that in November I saw this advertisement in the local newspaper, and it was from a hotel restaurant where I used to live next to 5 years ago. I loved the building. It has been built in 1850, and it just has charm, it has character. I loved it. And I'm a person, I only work at hotels which I choose to work there because I love the place. I love, for example, the area. I love the view. Well, in this place I don't work for the view, but well, whatever. I applied for a job. I had this lady on the phone, and we matched, and she right away sent me the work contract. So I have 2 jobs at the moment. And I always say, when I move from house to house, I've been moving a lot in my lifetime, I can track my inner development. That also applies to a job, of course. How am I doing? I can reflect it. How is my chef? Because once you apply for a job, you don't know how the chef is. You don't know up front how the co-workers or the clients are. You don't know that. It is a guess, a leap of faith. You just do it. So I've got 2 jobs, and I must say, the hotel I work now I've declared it to be my fun job. I work there 2 nights a evening, two evenings. I work there 2 evenings a week, and it's a fun job. It is what I've been missing from my job in the Netherlands. That was really a team job. And now again, I landed in a team. It's really great, it's amazing, I like it, I love it. But still, having these 2 jobs, I have now peace of mind to focus on videos again. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to do this video. I've been wanting to shoot this one already for 4 weeks, so it's about time, I would say. And if you are willing to work on yourself, to allow the spiritual transmission to set stuff in process, then you can keep watching the video. This is mainly a done for you video. I will lead the healing steps. It is spirit to spirit teaching, meaning I show your spirit, and usually your spirit sees what I'm doing and goes along. There will be some healing agencies be called in. There will be transmissions going on. Most of the time I'm explaining a lot, and sometimes I'm just counting. Well, sometimes I'm just plain boring, according to my 13-year-old, but that's okay. Sometimes it is okay to doze off, to zone out, because then you are in a space where healing can occur. So I don't feel offended when you find me boring or whatever. Fine by me. For me, I provide this healing space. I hold space for you, so you can shift and heal wounds within yourself. So if you're up for that, keep tuned. And just let's get a moment, be aware of ourselves, our physical body. Become aware how you sit. Straight up, or perhaps you're laying down, perhaps you're in a car. I must say I don't advise to listen to these videos while driving a car, because there's a chance you zone out, meaning all of a sudden you are further on your journey than you realized. So please don't do that. It's wise to listen to these type of videos in the evening or whenever you are free, to zone out for an hour or so. I'm going to set up a healing space right now, as I'm used to. I'm going to create a safe space for all of you that will provide you a space where healing can occur without being seen by other spiritual beings. For me, it's like, I used to call that I'm psychic. Nowadays I don't anymore. I just say, you know, it's like I can compare it to a television. And as you watch just one television channel, reality, I have a few channels more. Does it make me more special? No, not really. I'm just more attuned to other worlds. That's it. That's the purpose of my soul in this life, to develop and to observe a lot, be in touch and connection with a lot of planes and realities. For me it's normal. That doesn't mean it has to be normal for you. But you can benefit from my connections to the other worlds, observations and transmission which will flow via me. And let's welcome ourselves here. Let's be grounded, aligned and centered. Let's be one with the higher self, subconscious self, this higher self. Let's merge and create a state of unity between our conscious and subconscious selves. And the subconscious selves will accept a state of unity. As higher selves, let us merge and create a connection with the higher self, the planet. Higher self, the moon. Higher self, the sun. Higher self, the cosmos. Let's call in the ages of high magic, invite in the guides, tools, your spiritual support team, and whatever benefits us during this healing. And to bring growth, healing and awareness. And let's create a magical circle around our aura. I will create a healing space for all the viewers. And for those who watch more frequent to my videos, they know that besides the video, more healing spaces are being created. And in this case there will be There are 5 healing spaces being created. One will be for the viewers who resonate with fear of death, the other for fear of starvation, the third for fear of dictatorship. There will be a 4th, fear of being excluded, being exiled from community. That is being touched upon. Oh yeah, the professor didn't mention that one. Huh? And there is a 5th, that's a smaller group. And that is, I can't determine it at the moment, so we just let it be. And the mudra I'm doing is to be grounded, embodied into my body. And request the Angel of High Magic to create 2 concentric circles around each aura. Place separation roses for those who are aligned with them, to be more separate from another, especially for empaths and sensitives. It can be really pleasant to have separation roses at the end of the aura. The end of the aura is usually 1 arm length around you. And let's say hello to the center of the earth and request the spirit of the center of the earth to provide us with a total new grounding, aligned to total present time. And you might feel the connection from out the earth, being connected with your first chakra, hip joints, to several aura layers, feet chakra, and once again I ask you to become aware of yourself, of your physical body. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to change the curtains because this is a little bit too sunny for me. Yeah, that's better. So, how are you doing at the moment? Do you feel comfortable in your body at the moment? And if not, are you aware what your body is telling you? What's the tension in your body telling you? I am tuning at the energy of the group at the moment. And I see the healing spaces being filled with viewers. And some are in several groups simultaneously because more topics are resonating with you. Doesn't mean you are divided. It means your higher self projects a part of yourself into the group, and you have to be aware it's overseen by the Ages of High Magic. It's one of the highest authorial angelic authorities on this earth current moment. And for those who watch more frequent, they know I always work holistically, in the sense that I like to work on the incarnational string, that meaning all your past lives will be worked upon. I like to work on the event space spiral, meaning Similar events within your lifetime will appear on a spiral, like glowing dots. And I like to work on your timeline, starting 3 years before birth, and let's say 3 months into the future. You can do till the end of your lifetime, but from experience I know not too many can comprehend that, so I don't do that. Don't make it too difficult. 3 years before birth, so also the time included where you made your plans for life, where you created all your life contracts. Who will I meet? With who will I grow and experience certain life situations? And I like to work with a family tree. The family tree will always the stem of the tree that's you. And then it expands out, it branches out into your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, etc., etc. You can have, for example, a high universal law work upon that to clear generational fears out. And what is new, that I also work with a fountain. The fountain will be placed over here, and my cat is playing. Pookie! The fountain will be placed over here, and it's like it has several cups. You are here, your sibling is here, here are your parents, great-grandparents, here are your kids or children, you have more of them, and the energy from your family flows down. Sometimes, or often, when you take false responsibility, it might be that you lift up to the cup from your parents, because you take upon responsibility for a not faced life lesson from one of your parents. But the problem is, when you stand in the cup of your parents, yours dries up. You don't receive all the energy you should receive. So that's why family fountain, it's like it comes from systemic work, and we just leave it by this. And at the moment we are going to focus upon your center point, your 1 point. It's just below the 3rd chakra. And others call it the hara, the din tin. And let's breathe for a moment. Allow yourself to breathe through the nose. If your belly expand, and allow it to go flow out. And allow yourself to make sound while you breathe. It's not to be ashamed of, you are allowed to make sound. So. When you do this type of breathing, you massage your internal organs, and the energy can flow and process more easy. Let's count. 1st generation, that's us. And I feel already a lot of trembling within the generational tree. Also from all viewers, to clear out the fear of starvation. And for example, decades ago we had World War II. There was a fear of starvation. There was fear of starvation in the Middle Ages, when it was winter or whenever. And this pandemic also triggered these type of fears, because people losing their job, not being able to provide, not knowing how to feed their family. And it's not like the pandemic is You know, there are many conspiracy theories. I don't tend to follow them because I think it's just the earth, it's mankind finding a script, a way to process out that what has to be processed out. And we chose not for a world war, but we chose for a pandemic. Well, to me, I think that's pretty well. It's pretty good. For me, it's okay. So I just know collectively we have to process stuff. Well, so why don't we do that? So, fear of starvation, third generation. Fourth generation. Industrial Revolution. I feel from several countries intense starvation, and also at a young age starvation. And of course that's also triggering fear of death. And we just focus on starvation now. But just know that the healing agencies will cover all other fears if they are being lit up. Families being abandoned because the father could not provide anymore. So a lot of the issues and anxieties are intertwined. Fifth generation. Sixth generation. And there's a lot of gold being freed up. Seventh generation. Eighth generation. Ninth generation. 10th generation. I see in the viewer space families fleeing from a burned down village. And there's a lot of tight karma being completed with it, because you can imagine that fear of starvation also caused people, for example, to steal food which was not theirs, but just because they were hungry. So that happens, and people are being punished sometimes for that. And yeah. 11th generation. 12th generation. And if you feel emotions being touched, you notice how a generation is being healed, where unprocessed life lessons tied to starvation is being set in motion and is being healed. So not only your family benefits from it, but also those who were touched by the starvation are most likely incarnated again at the moment. And so on the soul level, they will receive healing as well, meaning also that their current incarnation will also receive healing for starvation. 13th generation. I see images of, it's a farmer who starved to death, refusing to slaughter his cow to survive, because it was his companion. He froze to death. So it's a combination. And I see how the angels are providing some of the granddads in your previous generations a healthy death, so he can be freed up out of his zombie zone, so to say, and he can now go to the light, so to say. And he will be guided processing his death. And I see that through the family line a whole whoosh, flow of energy is being freed up. It's like I see now this family fountain coming into action, that family members somehow took upon their plate to process his karma, which of course is not able to do because it was his karma, not theirs. And also the angels will provide a balancing here. 14th generation. 15. And let's take the time to process this. 16. And why don't you take a sip of water also? It's always good to stay hydrated when doing this type of work. 18. 19. 'I never thought about it like this, that fear of starvation is so much tied to fear of death, because fear of starvation is also fear of being punished for taking food which is not yours, which hasn't been paid for, you didn't earn it. I see from several continents now pictures being lit up of families where in European countries I saw children being sent out to steal food and they've been punished. And I also see energies of shame and humiliation being lit up, and it's being cleared out also. There's a little bit of joy being brought in. So when joy is being brought in, it's more easy to clear out shame and humiliation. I see other continents also. It's interesting how it keeps coming up. Children stealing food. How some got away with it, and they got good at it, and they kept doing it even if they didn't starve anymore, just for the fun of it, for the thrill. But I also see images of children sometimes this television is not so fun. The images I see now is really like pretty traumatized. Children being beaten and slaughtered to death by drunken, grumpy men for stealing food. Pooh. yeah, I can imagine that if the pandemic comes, that somehow when this triggers a lot of heart pain flowing via the bloodline or even from your own past life. And allow it to be processed. The ages of Dharma are coming in, supporting the ladies of Dharma. And they connect us to the angelic choirs. So the angelic choirs are now supporting us to let go of shock and trauma more easy on a family line. I also see images of, well, in our days it are children, but then it was normal to send off children of teenage puberty so they could work at families. And I see a lot of mistreat families who were really, really rich, who had a lot of food, and where the servants were not allowed the food which was left over to take for themselves. There's a lot of punishment tied to this. I did not expect this. So much punishment, so much fear. So in a way I can imagine if this kind of fear is being triggered during these pandemic times, you are more likely to say, yes, I will do this, yes. Because from ancient times, fear comes when you don't obey, you will get punished severely. That makes sense now why so many people take a, how do you call it already? A shot, impfung? Vaccination, thank you. Yeah, there's so much more to a story than what is seen. Many people always think, well, you're either for vaccination or you are against it. There's so much more to it. There are bloodline issues being triggered. There are past life issues being triggered. Subconscious experience from this lifetime, from youth, are being triggered. There's so much to it. It's not one simple answer. There's not one way to behave or to react. So many. And the best is just to accept it and to allow people to be different, to react and to respond different. Not to judge each other, because you don't know what their background is, why they do what they do, or why they think or decide how they decide. $20, $21. I see now images from, I would say India, Bangladesh, Asian countries, and starvation. And how you were born into poverty and starvation. And I see viewers who had several kinds and types of incarnation. Like, for example, one of the viewers has been a rich aristocrat, but also as a soul wanted to experience more of what he has done to his servants in life. So then he, with his guidance, chose a certain lifetime in India where he stayed for three lifetimes before he could move on to another part of Earth to incarnate. It's interesting. You know, life is a journey of the soul. Yeah. That's what I appreciate more and more, that more and more people get aware. more and more people become, well, they label themselves as empaths or sensitives or spiritual or whatever you want to label yourself. But it's becoming more and more aware of the journey of the soul. It's nice. So you can process deeper and better. So you can evolve your way of living, your being. 20. Oh, I've been there already. 21. 22. 23. 'I see a few how their spiritual support team is now focusing on a lifetime where this person lived in Russia. And nowadays that person would have turned 80, for example, but in that days it was my age, 47, and she was old, really old. And she used what the pictures they are showing me, the videos, so to say, they are showing me, is that she used to have a flourishing life. They had their own vegetables in the garden, but they were threatened and kicked out of their house. And she is she has to abandon her home, her family. She has to flee for her life. And she ended up miles and miles from home, from any suburb or village. And though she tended to feed herself from the woods she lived in, she was cold. The cold was not making her really old. I think that's also a theme here, and also that is also what happened with the pandemic. We had everything all over the world, and then we lost a lot of things. Now we're gaining stuff back. So I think to get stuff within the proper proportion, if you have it to look at it the right way, it has been an excellent opportunity to decide for yourself, hey, this life, what I've been living, this house I'm living in, is this good for me? Is this where I want to be? Is this what makes me happy? Does this house bring me joy? Does this job bring me joy? Because that a lot of things is swept away under our feet. And I think it's a good way to grow and evolve. Of course, you might have dramas into your life you cannot see at the moment as positive. But in the end, on the soul level, whatever your situation is, it had to occur to grow and evolve. And we are now having the opportunity to evolve and grow as mankind. And that's pretty extraordinary. It's pretty exciting, even if you don't like your life at the moment. And perhaps you are like me and you really like your life at the moment. That's possible also, for example, because I know I'm not the only one liking my life, liking life. Yeah, feeling the joy of life. And they continue. I have to count because I don't know where I was. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Yeah. I also feel a lot of ties to dictatorship, like being forced out of homes, forced out of areas. they all jam-packed together, you know. They all connect and intertwine with each other. Fear of starvation, fear of dictatorship, fear of death, fear of solitude. Fear of being left behind. It's also interesting to see in the viewer's healing space that how some flourished within isolation and being exiled, and how others just gave up and surrendered to their fears and died. Yeah, it's amazing. And they show me on another level, on the soul level, that for example those who had their lives in Polynesia, those were the ones who had no problems being kicked out of their houses, because they would find their way home again, whatever home was. And others who lived, for example, incarnation after incarnation after incarnation at the same place, and then being exiled, they were shattered, they were lost, they were, you know, completely wounded, because they didn't know where to go. They didn't know there was something out there. There's a whole world out there. And also the wonderful events are being lit up now. Meaning, if you were threatened in the village you lived and you had to leave, or you had to leave the area because the crops were not growing and you need to feed your family, so you had to move on. On a soul level, the positive imprints are being lit up and being brought to the surface. But also the positivity is being brought back into memory. The remembrance of positive situations. 28, 27, 28, 29, 30. And we're going to look back. And I see that there are some additional healing agencies are entering the space. And there's a set of healing agencies I like to work with. And that is angels who are capable to extract death energies and to infuse life force within a person. Because on an incarnational level, or even on a family level, if you had traumatic deaths, either way, in the incarnational string or in the family, those death energy could be disturbing the flourishing lifetimes. It can cause a blockage of being able to create a flourishing, abundant lifetime. Caused on an incarnational string, some blockages, or some on the family bloodline. And those two healing agencies are being brought in by the angels of high magic, also being called into an evocation triangle. On the background, the White Tara is still working with several viewers, being connected to Pure Land. And these both healing agencies also starting to clear out on several levels, on soul level and the family level, to clear out stuck and frozen death energies, and they fuse in ki, life force. And allow the cold energy to leave your space, your body, and allow the life force to enter your space. And let's count back. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. A whole bunch of cold leaving. Also my belly, my abdomen area, my back. There's a lot of stuff purging out of the chakras, also within the viewer space. And they also will call in dream state healing for the next 7 nights. So the healing will be spread over the coming 7 nights, so you will process it out more gentle, more easy. Processing will come with ease and not with healing crises. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. And sometimes we first have to go up, throw back all the generations and then go back again before something can be processed. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and for those who are sensitive or empaths, you can really feel the healing agencies coming nearer on a generational plane. 4, 3, 2, 1. And for those who have kids, we ask permission to go and continue into the future, to provide our future generation also healing on the topic of anxiety for starvation. Their children, 2nd generation. And they say they're going to the 5th generation after us. Remember, for their time space is completely different. And also we work with the spiritual and angelic healing agencies who are allowed to work like this. And also there are many viewers who are on soul level, they are developed, so it's possible also. 3rd generation, 4th generation, 5th generation, and look back again, 4th generation, 3rd generation. It reminds me of the movie The Last Mimsy. How they end the movie telling it from the story from out generations later into the future. Yeah. We can compare it like that. 2nd generation. And back to us, first generation. Oh no, still our children. First generation. And let's come back to us. And open your eyes. So, how are you feeling at the moment? And my angels say we have to continue, we're going to move on. And we're going to clear out fear for dictatorship. Because they're telling me, especially in the spiritual community, there are some people, I don't want to put a number on it, but there are some people who are being triggered by fear for dictatorship, and this shows itself by people believing in all kinds of conspiracy theories. And this is not for me to judge, it is for me to recognize that those people who respond in a certain way and keep spamming me with all kinds of conspiracy theories, that they are simply suffering of fear of dictatorship. So for me it's really helpful to do this, and I do know that in my son's bloodline there's also fear of dictatorship, so why don't we take a look at that? And just give us a minute to switch healing agencies. And remember, for this dream state healing of seven nights is being asked upon, and you will be guided by your spiritual support team to healing temples created specifically for these kind of healing videos, and you will find yourself in a higher astral healing temple where you can receive dream state healing on the topic of starvation, for example. But there are many more topics. You can just go there, visit there, go there with your spiritual support team, so you also get back to your body, also important. And for the moment I see healing agencies being exchanged, and we're going to work on healing of fear of dictatorship. And yeah, I see the healing globe, like I can call it like this, the healing bubble for those with fear of dictatorship is filled with many of viewers. I mean, your higher self is projected into that. You, of course, are not there. At least I would not advise to go there, though there are a few viewers who consciously go there. If you like mental or astral wandering and you know how to do it, you just go ahead. I am not the one who says you can't do that. But most of you are just partially there, and your spirit will be within your physical body, and fear of dictatorship will be healed on a incarnational string level. And they show it to me, like I mentioned before, the event space spiral, where the oblighting dots are events where you had similar situations. They do it now also on the incarnational string. I see events or lifetimes where you were suppressed and you really had to fear for your life or for the family's well-being. Really not so pleasant people. And I also see one of the first viewers showing me from meaning fear of dictatorship also means there's a lot of third chakra stuff going on. You're trying to release being on a incarnational level. You have been controlled on a third chakra base. So I also see immediately the healing agencies entering the space. And first of all, they start with exchanging or updating or upgrading your third chakra. Meaning, if your third chakra has a lot of information about dictatorship and how to be suppressed, and that can be that you are literally living in a country where there's dictatorship. It can be you're working for a chef who operates like a dictator. It can be you have a father or a mother who works like a dictator. Or you have a relationship who behaves like a dictator, who controls you all the way. To change that, to change the fear, we also have to think about the information within our chakras. So there are special teams of exchanging chakras are entering our space. They are being supported with a few Buddhist deity. That's nice to see, to observe. Because the Buddhist deity, they appear and they observe how the angelic beings are doing their work, exchanging the third chakra. And I'm not allowed to disclose within this video how exchanging of chakra occurs. You just have to trust that it occurs. You might feel some physical reactions on the place your third chakra is located, or you just see it happening. I mean, like I said, it's like having a television screen in several planes, so you can see whatever is going on. And I know I had one relationship who told me in the beginning, "Really? That what I'm seeing is all real? Oh my God, I just thought I was smoking too much marijuana." You know, the guy was from Amsterdam. You can imagine. I'm not saying that every person born in Amsterdam smokes a lot of marijuana, of course. But for the rest of the world, it makes sense if you say that, doesn't it? And it was true, by the way. While he smoked marijuana, he was in touch with so many planes, of which he thought it was all fantasy. And I looked in it, no, that's not fantasy. You're watching and observing the astral world. You're observing several planes within the astral. And aha. So he opened his eyes over, now I see. Yeah. And the third chakra can be upgraded, but it can also occur that during dream state healing on the 7th night, your third chakra will be removed and exchanged completely. So you get a total brand new third chakra being aligned to who you are today, to your personal process, your personal karma, and aligned and attuned to all the stuff which have been clearing on fear of starvation, fear of death, fear of dictatorship, fear of being exiled, loneliness, living a hermit life. And perhaps you are fine with living a hermit life. But if your soul has other plans for you, some stuff has to be changed. And I'm really surprised, by the way, that you start doing this. But that's okay. I'm a little bit chatty, I realize that. Perhaps some of you would like to stay in a meditative state and just close the eye and focus on what is happening with the third chakra. Perhaps other persons feel other chakras being replaced. I mean, when the team's already here, why don't you ask the team also to exchange the chakra which needs to be changed right now, for which you are really ready, that is being changed or exchanged or updated. It might be that you are, let's take me as an example. I'm 47 years old at the moment, and for example I have a throat chakra of a 45-year-old. It needs to be updated to 47 actual time. And if I, for example, watch this video into the future, it will be updated to the age I will have then. And I see that a lot of viewers are requesting their spiritual support team to address other chakras also. I see, for example, one of the viewers, she was missing a hand chakra. She received now a brand new hand chakra. I see one of the viewer, I would say he's now 16, 17 years old, and he had a dwarfed second chakra. And he's getting a brand new one, which is not dwarfed anymore, which will change his autistic behavior patterns. He's being really happy with that, because he knew that something was wrong with him, because the way he responded, he could see in other people responding to him that something was off with him, but he didn't know what. And now that he gets his chakras aligned and way more healthy as they were, he knows that his behavior will change also, that he will be able to respond and react to the age he truly is. And I'm not saying that every autistic person has a dwarf chakra. No. Just with this person, it's expressed that way. And it's really beautiful. His spiritual support team shows me where it came from. And it came from, I would say, 1700s, where military, he was in that life a female, and military raped his female incarnation several times, really humiliating that female incarnation. And I also see that that female incarnation was so ashamed of what they did to her, that in the end she committed suicide. And I feel for you. And let's allow all the pain, the panic and frozen energies to be processed, to be healed. And you are lucky to have such an aware and active spiritual support team. I know you are happy with them also, that's nice. Yeah, some of the teens of nowadays are pretty aware. I like that. Yeah. So, fear of dictatorship. Not owning your body. Well, now you can imagine that the pandemic triggers that one. I mean, there are now countries around the world who are making vaccination a must, obligated. So losing your ownership of your body. Well, at the moment that's Austria, and I just mentioned it joking to someone I met today. Well, Austria is just playing out their extremist energies in their collective consciousness. Well, better to do it this way than in a war, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I just hope for the people there that they will be able to process it soon. Whatever they need to collectively process. Because having no ownership over your body, it's a biggie. That's really important at the moment, that we collectively process that, because you own your body. I own my body. I am the only one who has right to determine what to do and what happens with my physical body. And I also have ownership over my energy field. So if someone sends energy within my space and I recognize that, I have the right first to send it back. But I'm not allowed to disclose what I wanted to say. That will be for another time. That will be for a video within a protective membership area. That's fine. And going to open the things again. So, fear of dictatorship, fear of starvation, fear of death. Should it? And I see that the focus is being shifted. They are focusing now on their current timeline, meaning 3 years before birth, including the time that you as a soul decided what life lessons to address, which karma to process, what persons to meet in this lifetime. And you always have different levels of lifetime, meaning different levels of destiny. You have, for example, in your lower destiny, you meet this and this person. Once you shift your destiny, once you're able to shift upon a higher path of destiny, you might have created with other persons agreements to meet and to address certain life lessons or karma. And they are going with the angels of the higher laws. They will address fear of death, and then fear of death tied to anything. You know, fear of death can be in this lifetime, for example, if your birth didn't went well, you might have residues of fear of death, fear of not being born, that can be your own, but it can also be your parents or from the midwife or the doctor. You can had an accident, a life-threatening disease. You can have occurred that you were in a bar and that you got into a fight where someone got extremely mad with you and almost killed you. For whatever reason, fear of that can happen so many ways. So they are now creating within the spiritual plane, mental plane, astral plane, etheric plane, timelines, 3 years before death, 3 months into the future. And of course, when they work on the astral plane, mental plane, spiritual plane, in the spiritual plane stuff is being created and it just comes down to the mental plane, goes down to the astral plane, goes down to the physical plane. Within these planes there's a time difference. And meaning if you work 3 months within the future in the spiritual plane, it might crystallize in the physical plane in 4 months. Or it might crystallize not at all because we have healed it already in one of these planes. Hey, that's a cool one, isn't it? Yeah. Let's focus on that. And I am going to count 1 to 10. So they're really big leaps in your lifetime. I don't know how old you are. I'm 47 as you know. So including 3 years before life, meaning 50 years. So my steps will be 5 years each. And it's not necessary to know how old everyone is. Their spiritual support team will know and they will do the steps. What is important that any, for example, if you have a death picture of a previous lifetime somewhere hidden within your physical body, it can be cleared. If it's not cleared, it can cause, for example, a type of disease, or it can cause hernia, or however it's called in English, I'm not sure. And let's just focus and ask the spiritual support teams to focus on the timelines from all of us. And they will receive assistance to heal fear of death. It will also be processed out in 21 dream state healing. Why 21 nights? It's almost a full moon circle, but it's just 21 nights. It's intuition, it's what they tell me. And during these 3 weeks they will be able to clear out a lot. Some who are vivid dreamers, they will experience some stuff within their dreams, and some don't have recollection at all, they just feel changed. So why don't we start counting? 1, 2, and also the Akashic Record Keepers are here, the Angels of High Magic, and some other healing agencies who are allowed to make contractual changes for this current lifetime. And also because some of you were not aware of the several paths of destiny at all. And you as a soul will have a choice now to shift your destiny upon a higher path. Some were already aware and they just shift some contracts, some agreements to meet. Shift upon a higher destiny is always nice, because it comes with less drama. It comes with insight while listening to someone, or it comes while reading a book, or petting your cat or dog if you have one. 2, it might be that you had a parent who was obsessed with fear of death, and they forced that fear upon you. And really gently, that energy, those thought forms will be identified as not being yours and will be sent in a neutral way back to its original sender. So that might be the obsessed parent, it might be an entity hanging around that parent. 3. I mean, you have those parents who are living anxiously. They have so many anxieties about, oh my God, my child could die. Oh my God, my child could die this way or that way. And they obsess controlling the lives of their children just to make themselves more comfortable. So what is happening now? It's being cleared out. And sometimes it can be caused by a death, many generations caused in the family, which has never been processed and is now being played out. And now is the moment to heal it, to let it go, to let it go with ease and flow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I also see fear of dying young, because a parent never passed the age of 50, 52. And coming close to that age, you might fear, oh my God, I will die as young as my dad or mom, though your life plan has in store for you that you will become 80. That is a shame of your energy then, isn't it? Being afraid to die young. But those anxieties can feel real, and it's now time to process those unreal anxieties. Might be because you took on from the whole family the pain of the missing and the grief of the family. And let's now process that out. Allow also the family fountain to be brought back into balance. 8. 'And I know there's a lot of COVID-related fear being lit up. And that's of course normal, because this is being taped end of January 22. And a lot of people, especially in the first year, were afraid to die of COVID. Nowadays you hear many being tested positive, but having no symptoms at all. I just realized that it's the 24th of January, and in 1996 my sister died the 27th of January. I do remember that when I was 23, getting 23, so her age when she died, I was anxious. I had a lot of anxieties. Oh my God, I'm now getting older than my sister was. This was strange then. For now it's really normal that I'm 47, that she just went 23. And for me now, I also know that my sister incarnated again, having a nice life, benefiting from all the healing I also did. And also my brother provided healing, of course. Yeah. Allowing her to have a more easy life now. I can almost hear my mother smile through the camera. Yeah. And it will be 3 months into the future. For me that will be April. For you it will be 3 months after you watch this video. I see some viewers who are awakened enough and aware enough, they continue this process till after their death of this current lifetime. But that's only for a few. But even if it's only for a few, They lift up the whole group awareness that energy of healing within the future is possible. And that's also because me as a facilitator am aware that is possible. But I do feel the level of holding space of other viewers. That's nice. Because we heal as a group. Even if I tape this video now here alone, with my cat, I am aware of all of you viewers watching, and that all of us form a collective consciousness, a group consciousness, and that you might watch this video 3 years from now or 3 months from now. For me, we are in the now. So I watch this live with you, so to say. Yeah. It's interesting. Some of you are now sending future information, what is happening on Earth. It's nice, but you don't have to do that. That's okay. I'll see how it develops. Yeah. And you? And so why don't we look back? 9. Let me see. 8. 7. 6. 'She's distracting me from the viewer space, but I still have to observe that. 4. Feel a lot of traumatic frozen energy leaving the viewer space from fear of death. Frozen energies of death brought in by from past lives, previous incarnations, are now being unfrozen, unstuck. And the nice thing is we have angelic authorities with us who can get your frozen traumatic self-aspects unstuck and have them grow up to the present time. So that's nice. Amazing. That's my book. 4. 3. 'She makes me aware I have a belly. I have some fat here. It's pretty weak, isn't it? It's nice. Yeah? Nice. 2. Yeah. Do you also feel and notice how the group is now, when I count back, we are getting younger? That we address younger age in our lives. And of course, because the age of the viewers is various, it's different. I also feel a lot of discomfort, and tears are, it's like struck tears and struck screams are being released at the moment. Because those who are young, when they see a dead body for the first time, it can be shocking. So that's being cleared at the moment, it's being unfrozen, getting unstuck, being processed. And it's nice to process that before dying yourself. So that's cool. It's nice. Let me see. Even just one. One. And allow the healing agencies to attune all of us for dream state healing for the next 21 nights, for healing fear of death. And for each person individual, you will receive healing. Some persons will receive healing on the fear of death only and solely for the last couple of years, others for the whole lifetime. Others who are more attuned to their own soul development, they will receive a lot of healing on the incarnational string. Others will receive a lot of healing on the family line. It is really attuned to what you need. It's nice, isn't it? That is, you know, I am media. I am only the observer. I am the middleman, so to say. I offer you a space where you can heal, and what you do with it is up to you. Up to your higher self, to your soul, to your spiritual support team. And all I can do is offer the space, which I do via this healing videos. Yeah. So, I think this video has come to an end. And let's do some closing steps. Like, for example, I'm gonna call in the Akashic Record Keepers from all of us and allow us to receive a past life aura update. So processed past life information can be cleared out of our energetic fields. And a current life information update will occur. And let's imagine for all of us a nice big golden sun above our head. Let's call in all energy released and made available to space, place and time, whether it has been released in the past, present, future, whether it has been released from the spiritual plane, mental plane, astral plane, etheric plane. Allow it to flow back into the nice big golden sun above our head. And raise all the energies to its highest creative vibration, purified. Call in divine joy. Call in divine love. Call in divine health. Call in divine hope. Divine acceptance. And allow all these energies to be purified. And for a few viewers, absorption roses are being placed around their golden sun. Some energy which is not ours, but we melted and merged with others, are being absorbed out. So a pure own energy will flow through us, filling us up. And it's now starting to flow down like a waterfall of golden light, flowing down, filling up our 7th chakra, flowing down, filling up the 6th chakra, flowing down, filling up the throat chakra, flowing down, filling up the heart chakra, flowing down, filling up the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus. It also flows out of the chakras into our aura, flowing down, filling up the 2nd chakra, flowing down, filling up the first chakra and expanding out, filling up our flesh body, which is us, and it fills up our hip joints, our knees, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands, flowing out the head chakras, flowing out the feet chakras, expanding out, filling up our whole energy field around us, which is an arm length around us. And it's slowly filling up our first aura layer, second aura layer, third, fourth, and depending how you are trained or depending on your belief system, you extend to your fifth aura layer, sixth aura layer, seventh aura layer. And call in law of microcosm, macrocosm, so all this golden sun fill-up energy also reflects within your astral body in the astral plane, mental body in the mental plane, spiritual body in the spiritual plane. And enjoying this golden light. When you do healing, a lot of energy leaves your personal space, and it is necessary to fill up your own personal space with your own purified energies. Because empty space from nature, voids cannot occur, so it will be filled up with anything. And if you don't fill it up with a golden sun fill up, you can walk the streets, go shopping, and have it filled up with energy of total strangers, which have a match with you or whatever. And that's not what you want, is it? You do like to own your own energy field. So why don't you train yourself more in the golden sun fill up so you become aware of the ownership of your own energy field, and you can control it yourself. You don't need me to do that. I can show you a couple of times. You can just click play in my playlist, golden sun fill up a few times, and you can do it for yourself. Like I said, it's spirit to spirit teaching. You can do it yourself. You can claim your ownership. So, well, that has been a pretty pleasant healing for the level of anxiety we have been clearing. And that might be due to me having processed already a lot of these anxieties over this lifetime. And because I've already processed a lot of this stuff, it is easier. It is less heavy. I mean, it's like, for example, when you do for the first time clearing shame and humiliation, it's like, oh my God, it's so heavy. When you do it more often, it becomes more light, it becomes more joyful, because you know how it goes. And also, like for me, like this, clearing death and starvation and, well, dictatorship was new for me. But clearing out starvation and clearing out fear for death, I've done that several times. So that was pretty easy, and I hope you benefit from having it done already a few times, because it became easy for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and give a thumbs up, give a like. I hope to see you next time. And I don't know what kind of video it will be. Perhaps I will upload another healing video, or I will upload a short or longer video of life on the Swiss farm. Well, whatever it will be, it's a surprise. I don't plan ahead. And let's say, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving your trust and spending time with me and all the healing agencies. Why don't we give a minute to thanking within ourselves the healing agencies for supporting us within this process. I thank my cat for joining me. Hope to see you next time, also in a healing video. Sometimes she doesn't want to be in it. That's okay. And I hope you have a pleasant time. Bye bye.